Elden Ring is one of the hardest games. Figuring out what to level, where to go, and what to do is almost impossible, unless you're watching this video. Today, I'll guide you from the very start of the game to the point where you can destroy bosses like this, or even this. And you won't even need to be a skilled player. If you can jump and press the attack button, that's enough. In this video, you'll learn how to get a powerful build from the very beginning, where to go and what to do, and how to actually have fun playing one of the hardest games in the world. Grab a snack, get comfy, and let's dive in. As you can tell from the title, this build is focused on bleed. For those who just started the game, bleed, or hemorrhage, is an invisible meter on enemies that fills up every time you hit them. Once it's full, it chunks about 15% of the boss's max HP. Here is what it looks like. Satisfying, isn't it? To do the same, you need to hit bosses with a bleed weapon around 8 times, which is a lot in my opinion. So I use all of my brain power to find a way to do it faster, from the very beginning and with minimal effort. This led me to one weapon you can grab at the very start of the game, and it'll easily carry you all the way to the end. And in the next 20 minutes, I'm gonna show you exactly how. The second we launch the game, we're hit with a class selection. For this build, we're going Samurai. It starts you off at level 9 with 8 arcane and some solid starting gear, which you'll be glad to have, because there's an annoying knight you need to put down early, and the Uchigatana's skill makes that fight easy. The Samurai also has enough strength and dexterity to swing our main weapon later. And speaking of weapons, it's time to go and get it. After you finish the tutorial, Limgrave opens up to you, with this dude who'll call you Maidenless. Don't kill him, you will need him later. The lands between is a big place, and we need a ride, so we beeline straight ahead for the gatefront site of Grace, so that Melina will hook us up with a Honda Accord named Torrent. After we get our Uber, we need to get the weapon, the Bandit curved swords. This curved sword drops from a certain enemy, so we need to boost our item discovery stat for better drop chances. We can do this by using the silver pickled Foulfoot, and you can find 2 of them on a ledge close to the starting building in Limgrave. Once we have Torrent and the materials needed, we head to the Church of Pilgrimage in the Weeping Peninsula. From Gatefront Ruins, follow the road southeast, cross the bridge, then continue south while following the road. Cross another bridge into the Weeping Peninsula, continue down the road south, and take the right turn after coming across a fork in the road. Follow the road north, then west, and then north again, and you'll find the Church of Pilgrimage. It's time to grind for our main weapons. If you're in the church, go outside through the broken walls on the western side. You'll end up in a graveyard, and you'll see a skeleton wielding the weapon we want. It looks better on us, so we'll take it. Farm this skeleton by resetting at the Church of Pilgrimage site of Grace until both Bandit curved swords drop. They have a 5% drop rate, by the way. It might take a while of repeated skeleton kills to get the weapons. Attack the skeleton again while it's reviving to ensure that it dies and drops loot. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, a Bandit curved sword has dropped. I managed to obtain one after 5 minutes of farming, though results will vary. After getting 2 Bandit curved swords, I went to test them against the Tree Sentinel, and it didn't end well. The damage wasn't enough. The Bandit curved swords don't come with an innate bleed status. The weapon needs the bleed or blood affinity to shine, as that's where the chunk of the damage will come from. By the way, to tell whether a weapon has bleed or not, check its description. If there are numbers there, it's got bleed, and the higher the numbers, the fewer hits you need to land on a boss to proc it. Either way, we need to apply bleed somehow, and there are 2 ways to do it. Take down this nasty boss at level 9 and unlock access to Nokron, or farm an Ash of War off this harmless looking knight as a stopgap option. The first boss gives us more, but killing him at level 9 when you've just started Elden Ring is basically impossible, so we skip him and run straight to the knight to loot his Ash of War. To get it, we need to go to 4th Hate in the eastern part of Limgrave. From the Gatefront site of Grace, or Gatefront Ruins, go southeast, follow the road, and cross the bridge. Then go north, then northeast, following the road, turning south into the forest. You'll find Fort Hate outside this forest to the south. Head inside the fort and run past the enemies to the top of the stairs, where you'll find a menacing knight. This knight drops the Bloody Slash Ash of War, and he can be tricky, but if you pick the samurai, you can make quick work of him using the Unsheath Ash of War from the Uchigatana. After defeating the knight and getting the Ash of War, don't leave yet. Climb the tower nearby, because on the top, you'll find one half of the Dectus Medallion, which we'll need later. It's our key to unlocking the Altus Plateau, which is a mid-game area. However, we need the second Blood Affinity Ash of War from this region, so we're unlocking the Altus Plateau early, and we need the second Dectus Medallion. The second half of the key is in Fort Feroth in Dragon Barrow in Caelid, but you don't need to fight anything. From Fort Hate, head north to the Third Church of Marika. And once there, go to the nearby pawn north and look for a portal stone hidden among the bushes. This portal will take you to Dragon Barrow in Caelid. Remember not to fight here, you'll die. Grab any site of grace you can along the way, and then ride off south. Cross the bridge with Torrent while ignoring the dragon, and head for the minor Erd Tree. Circle to the left of this minor Erd Tree and look for the Spirit Spring, which will let Torrent jump to the cliff above. Jump on this spring, and you will land near Fort Feroth. You can also see a huge sleeping dragon, but don't disturb it yet. We need it later for farming runes. For now, head toward Fort Feroth, activate the nearby Site of Grace, and run to the top of the fort. The ladder is to the left after you enter. After the ladder, you'll find a chest containing the second half of the Dectus Medallion. Now you can access Altus Plateau with both halves of the Dectus Medallion in your possession. This medallion is a pass to a giant elevator called the Grand Dectus Lift. To get to Altus Plateau early, you'll have to skip Stormvale Castle, that big castle on the hill near the starting area. You can go around Stormvale Castle by hugging the right side of its walls. Follow the directions in this video on how to do it. This shortcut will take you to Liurnia of the Lakes, and we'll also be running past the enemies here. Start at the lake-facing cliffs Site of Grace and head north through the water to the eastern lakeshore. Then follow the road northwest to the eastern tableland Grace. Push further north and you'll walk straight into an ancestral follower camp. They will not be happy about it. Again, run past them. This part can be dizzying, as you'll need to do some jumping acrobatics with Torrent to get past the enemies. Try to follow this exact maneuver. After the ancestral followers, you'll find the Mausoleum Compound Site of Grace. Continue east towards some giant gravestones on a cliff face. You'll have to use Torrent to jump down these cliffs and onto the Bellum Highway. Touch the East Raya Lucaria Gate Site of Grace, as you'll need this checkpoint for our next daring maneuver. From the Bellum Highway, follow the big road to get to the Grand Dectus Lift. You're going to have to perform some Tokyo drifts with Torrent to slip past the catapults and the enemies, and I recommend the zigzag maneuver. The Grand Dectus Lift has a Site of Grace nearby. Make sure to activate it and then present your Dectus medallions to the lift like a ripped passport or something.
Approved!
Congratulations, you're now in the Altus Plateau. Please enjoy your stay. The Bloodblade Ash of War is north of here, and after everything we went through, we've earned it. You'll find the Bloodblade Ash of War on a pond a short journey north of the Grand Dectus Lift. Run past the enemy camps north, And once you reach the pond, look for a flying teardrop scarab or dung beetle. If you get close, the scarab will panic and drop to the ground, probably because it's doing something illegal. Kill the scarab and the Bloodblade Ash of War is yours. We've been collecting puzzle pieces for a while now. Let's put the picture together. It's been a really long journey, but without it, none of this would have worked. Everyone who managed to get here, you're awesome. From here, it'll be more fun and a lot more action. First of all, we need to apply the blood affinity on our weapons. Go to the round table hold and talk to the blacksmith. Ignore his sad boy complaints and select Ash of War. Blood affinity will give the bandit curved sword the bleed status effect on each hit. Put Bloodblade on one of the bandit curved swords and Bloody Slash on the other, making sure to select blood affinity for both. Our main method of attacking with the dual blood bandit curved sword is spamming either the L1 or the jumping L1. The jumping L1 is preferable since it does 4 hits and works too well against large targets. Sometimes a single jumping L1 will trigger 1 instance of bleed depending on the enemy. For smaller human-sized targets, you'll have to switch to a regular L1 since not all 4 hits of the jumping L1 will hit small targets. The Ashes of War don't matter much here as you won't be using them. We're after the blood affinity scaling since this allows the bandit curved sword to trigger the bleed status. Also, take note of the scaling. If you change the bandit curved sword's affinity to blood, you also change the scaling to strength, dexterity, and arcane. These are the stats you'll have to level up to increase the weapon's damage. So we need to level them up as fast as possible, and that means it's time for some rune farming, baby. That's why we're going back to the sleeping dragon near Fort Feroth, named Grail, and if you're diligent enough, you can complete the build's stat requirements by killing her again and again in an exploit. We already have Blood Bandit curved swords, perfect for killing Grail fast, but don't rush in yet or you might ruin the exploit in your playthrough. We have a full guide on how to do the dragon rune farming the optimal way, and it doesn't take long to farm hundreds of thousands of runes you need for leveling up.
After getting your runes, Arcane is the priority stat because it makes bleed proc, so the more we stack it, the fewer hits we need to bleed proc, which means enemies start bleeding out more often. So your stats should look like this. Alright, we have the right weapon, and we've leveled our stats, but the damage is still lacking. It's time to upgrade our swords. To do it, we need smithing stones, and 2 ways to get it. First is collecting it over the map, which takes around 8 hours of your time, or find the bell bearing. I chose the second option, but you can do the first if you want to. The smithing stone miner's bell bearing drops from the Crystallian boss in the Raya Lucaria crystal tunnel over in Liurnia, so go and end his Crystallian life. He has strong resistance to slashing damage, so you can either struggle a bit like I did, or buy a club from the nomadic merchant. He is located not far from this side of Grace, under the ruins. The club will cost 600 runes. With it, killing the Crystallian will be much easier. After that, bring the bell bearing to the twins and you'll be able to buy smithing stones from them. And if you don't have enough runes for that, you can always check out our video on the best farming methods. It should be somewhere here in the tips. In any case, this will help us upgrade our weapon to +6. After that, we'll need more smithing stones, so we teleport to Altus Plateau and follow the path you see on the screen with epic music. Once you reach the ledge, jump down and go into the cave. There will be an illusory wall. Break it. At the bottom, there will be a chest and a couple of level 5 stones lying around. Pick them up and run back to the shrine as fast as you can. After that, as usual, bring the bell bearing to the twins and you'll be able to upgrade your weapon to +12. And if you picked up the level 5 stones, then to +13. After the upgrade, we're done with the weapon. Now we need some buffs. First, we go to the Third Church of Marika. It's located right here on the map, and pick up the Flask of Wondrous Physic. It's a special flask that gives an additional buff, and we mix that buff ourselves using crystal tears. Since our AR scales the most from DEX, we teleport to Liurnia to this side of Grace and run along the road to this spot until we find a small island with guys who have big heads. Go around them and pick up the first tier. The second tier will regenerate our stamina so we can attack more often. It's located in Limgrave, not far from this tree, so we teleport to this shrine and head toward the tree. Be careful on the road. There are bears and they're not the nicest animals. Now that we have everything, go to any shrine and mix it all into the flask in this menu. Drink the flask and buffs will appear at the top.
Put the flask on your quick slot and always drink it first before a boss fight. It lasts 3 minutes, which is longer than the other buffs we'll be using. And the last buff we'll pick up before we start smashing bosses is Golden Vow. Before we face more bosses, we need to grab some additional gear, starting with one of our buffs, a portable Golden Vow. The spell Golden Vow requires 25 faith, and we can't spare runes to level that up if we're prioritizing the arcane stat. Thus, we're turning our attention to the Ash of War, Golden Vow. It's a weaker version of the spell, and you can get it in Limgrave. From the War Master's shack in Limgrave, go northeast and keep riding on this hill. You'll see a lone knight near the edge of the cliff. Defeat him to get the Ash of War, Golden Vow. Once you have the Ash of War, go back to the Round Table Hold, look for the Twin Maiden Husks, and buy a dagger from them for 400 runes. Go to the blacksmith afterward and place the Ash of War, Golden Vow on the dagger, then equip the dagger in your main hand slot. Use this Ash of War before boss fights. It lasts 45 seconds and grants plus 11.5% damage and plus 7.5% damage negation. With all of this in the pocket, we are ready to face early game bosses. Speaking of which, it's time to test our early build against the Tree Sentinel. Video editing, teleport us to the Tree Sentinel, so let's show him how strong we are now. I feel a lot more confident about Margit. More than anything, this hater is our crash test dummy for the bleed build. He couldn't even finish his insult before bleeding to death. That's what you get for trash talking too much. Margit is now out of the way, and our build is looking promising already, which means we have 2 talisman slots and 0 talismans. Let's fix it. Our first talisman will be Winged Sword Insignia. This talisman will increase our attack power by up to 10% as long as we hit enemies consecutively within 1.5 seconds. To get this one, we have to go to the Stillwater Cave in the southeastern corner of Liurnia. The cave is near the lake-facing cliffs and Liurnia Lake Shore Sites of Grace. You'll have to kill the cave's boss, a Clean Rot Knight, as he will drop the talisman. For a bleed build, the Winged Sword Insignia's buff is mandatory because we often do multiple attacks per input. Since we've slain Margit earlier, we have the second talisman slot open as well. Make your way to Stormvale Castle through the path on the left of the main gate. After you get to the wooden room with the locked door, go upstairs and inside the dark room containing the chest with the rusty key. This room has a knight, so be careful. Once you get the rusty key, go back to the locked door and proceed through towards some stairs as seen in the video. You'll then find your way to a floor with a locked elevator lever, and to the left of this lever, there is a room with the Rampart Site of Grace. Make sure to activate this Site of Grace as it's an important checkpoint for our Red Bull stunt. Step outside the Site of Grace and look to the right. The Claw Talisman is at the top of the building on the right. We don't have wings to reach that tower, but we have plenty of faith, so we're going to leap right across to the roof next to it and pray we make it. After a few tries, you'll definitely be able to land and get the Claw Talisman. Follow the path on video. You'll have to look for a ladder that leads to the top of the tower with the chest containing the Claw Talisman. Godric is next. He's weaker than Margit in my opinion, and this fraud ought to be a quick fight. Godric tends to bleed out as soon as his second phase begins, and just like that, we've cruised through Elden Ring's early game. The build is already performing incredibly well, but we're only getting started. After you've beaten Godric, you'll get his Great Rune, which increases all attributes by 5 points, which helps a lot. To get the Great Rune to work, you must activate it at the top of the Divine Towers. One of these towers, the Divine Tower of Limgrave, is attached to Stormvale Castle, and you can access it through this path. Once you've unlocked these towers, equip the Great Rune at a site of grace. Then use Rune Arcs to activate the Great Rune and receive its bonuses. You can obtain Rune's Arcs from the Twin Maiden Husks in one of the rooms in the Round Table Hold. It's time to move on to bigger threats, a Grieving Widow. Renala is the main boss in Liurnia of the Lakes and another key component to our build. We'll make our way to her academy and put an end to her suffering. Renala didn't fare any better. Once you defeat both Godric and Renala, report back to Enya at the Round Table Hold and she'll open up our third talisman slot. After killing Renala, your build should look something like this. You can see the list of buffs and items on the screen, and your stats should look like this. At this point, we could basically end the video since this is an early game build, but I thought it would be useful to add a few more upgrades, like a third talisman slot and some armor that enhances our jumping attacks, and Raptor's black feathers is the thing. This body armor is in the Sage's Cave in Altus Plateau, and to get there, starting from the Grand Dectus Lift, head north, reach the Erd Tree Grazing Hill, and then turn left or west, going to the abandoned coffin site of grace. After that, go northeast towards the water and look for a cave on the cliff walls. That's Sage's Cave, and it's a bit of a maze. I recommend following this video for directions toward the chest holding Raptor's black feathers. We can now obtain our third talisman, Millicent's Prosthesis, and it has a similar effect as the Winged Sword Insignia, up to 11% attack power increase on consecutive attacks. This talisman also boosts dexterity by 5 points. It needs to finish half of Millicent's long questline to get this talisman. Start the quest with Gowry at Gowry's shack in Caelid. Accept his request for the unalloyed gold needle. He sends you to kill Commander O'Neill in the Swamp of Aeonia, west of the shack. O'Neill hits hard, so bring spirit ashes to peel off his minions. Bring the needle back to Gowry. Rest at a grace or reload the area, talk to him again, and he hands over the repaired unalloyed gold needle. Now you need Millicent. Shortcut from Fort Ferreth, drop south on Torrent, and keep going to the Church of the Plague, where she's rotting away from scarlet rot. Give her the repaired needle, rest at the nearby grace, talk to her until she's out of lines, then rest again. Once she leaves the church, head back to Gowry's shack. She'll be standing there. Exhaust her dialogue, rest at the nearest grace to reset the area so she leaves and Gowry returns, then talk to Gowry dry too. Resetting at graces matters. Skip it and you can soft lock the quest line. After Gowry's final line, go to the Altus Plateau and the Erd Tree Gazing Hill grace. Millicent's just north, overlooking the valley. Talk her out again. Next, grab the Valkyrie's Prosthesis from the Shaded Castle north of that grace. It's in the northwestern tower, guarded by a clean rot knight. Get in through the western gap in the wall and follow the walls as shown in the video. Bring the arm back to Millicent at Erd Tree Gazing Hill, hand it over, and clear her dialogue. Then travel to Dominula, Windmill Village, north of the Altus Plateau. Fight up to the top and kill the Godskin Apostle. Activate the Windmill Heights Grace, rest, and Millicent will move in nearby. Talk to her. Doesn't matter what she says because you're about to murder her. Killing her here ends the questline, but it's the only way to get Millicent's prosthesis early. Leave her alive and you're waiting dozens of hours until the end game for the talisman. Not worth it on a first run. The full questline does pay out the rotten winged sword insignia, an upgraded winged sword insignia, but it's just a 3% attack boost, and taking it costs you the prosthesis. Our build is powerful enough to live without that 3% bonus thanks to numerous other buffs. There's a cleaner way to do this that skips the crafting menu completely. Flame, grant me strength. Same job, insurance against enemies who shrug off bleed, except you never touch a cookbook. The incantation raises your physical and fire attack power by 20% for 30 seconds and costs 28 FP a cast. It hits harder than the perfume's 15% and you can recast it forever. The trade-off is the timer. 30 seconds is short, so you pop it right before you commit to a fight, not while you're running across the arena. You grab it behind Fort Gale in Caelid, ride to the Fort Gale north side of Grace, then loop around to the back wall of the fort where two flame-spitting heads sit on either side of a corpse. Loot the body and it's yours. Sprint past the Radon Knights if you just want the pickup, or thin them out first so you don't get cooked on the approach. Phew, that wasn't exactly an easy walk in the park, but we did it. With this build, you can crush nearly every early and mid-game boss without much effort. And that's a wrap! I hope you enjoyed our bleed build, because I did. In fact, it was the easiest Elden Ring boss run I did, proving that bleed builds are still overpowered. This video took a long time to make, and if it gave you a useful footing or the confidence to jump in, a like or comment goes a long way. It helps a lot. Let me know which build you'd like to try next. I'm looking forward to your suggestions. Also, subscribe if you want more guides, builds, tier lists, and the occasional descent into Elden Ring madness. This was Hawk Live Gaming. See you in the next one.